Poppin'? It's your boy Mack B. Welcome back to Sports Hop. We got another hot show for you today. Episode 33 is all the way live and official. I'm in the building. I got Solomon in the building as well.
I'm here.
And we are going to hop right into the WNBA because that is the talk of the town, right? Where else would we start with the great Caitlin Clark? Did a triple-double for the first time, the first rookie in the history of the WNBA to get a triple-double. She did it against the New York Liberty, and the Fever did pull off the win late. But shout out to Caitlin Clark. I had said the other time that she was really close to getting that triple-double. She was like 1 rebound, 1 assist away a couple games back, and I knew she was going to get it. And this won't be the last time that she gets it this year. I'm pretty confident she's going to land a few more of those, but props to Caitlin Clark, averaging 17.8 points per game, almost 6 assists, and she's doing her thing as a rookie. And the race is kind of tightening up, right, with her and Angel Reese, because opening odds before the season started, Angel Reese was 20-1. I don't know if you know this or not, Solomon, but 20-1. She was not a favorite at all to capture the award. As it stands now, Caitlin Clark is still a -600, according to the Vegas sports books, to capture the Rookie of the Year. We shall see how it plays out, but I think it's a tight race, and I think that Angel Reese, who's had 13 consecutive games of double-doubles, right, in terms of points and rebounds, she's been playing well, but the Sky really haven't been winning a lot of games. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games. The Fever are 6-4. Plus-minus ratio, Caitlin Clark needs to clean up on her turnovers and kind of get those down a little bit. Angel Reese has a better plus-minus. But when it comes to shooting, Caitlin Clark all day has the advantage. About 40% from the field, 91% from the free throw line, and 32.5% from three-point range. So statistically, she blows Angel Reese out the water when it comes to shooting accuracy, free throws, three-point attempts, three-point makes, and overall field goal percentage. But Angel Reese definitely does make her presence felt around the basket, cleaning up the glass, getting those rebounds, scoring some points. So I like what's going on with this race in terms of Rookie of the Year. I still think, like I said the other day, I think Caitlin Clark has the edge, but it's a tight race. I'm telling you, it's getting tighter as each day passes. What are your thoughts on her triple-double, the win over the Liberty, and overall the race in terms of Rookie of the Year? Talk to me.
Well, the funny thing, the one word you're not hearing about Caitlin Clark that you should be hearing is unflappable. I mean, she has been so consistent in her play, right? All of this controversy, all of the attention going on. She just maintains an even keel. She goes out there and performs every night. Some nights she's on, some nights she's off. She doesn't let it get her bothered. Yeah. And quite honestly, I don't even think she's super up about all of the triple-double and all that stuff. I think she's just out there playing her game, willing her team to be better. And so, I mean, you've got to give her that. Now, on the other side, Angel Reese talked a lot of crap, and a lot of people looked at her in a negative light. Yeah. Even some of the things that they did recently where they put out something that just basically implied that she's the front runner. People took it as an insult to Caitlin Clark. I didn't think of that way at all. I thought here's a team supporting their best player. And so, but the funny thing, she's put her money where her mouth is. I mean, she goes out there and performs. I mean, think about it. I mean, these women have been in the WNBA for a long time, and she goes out there and she is scoring points. She's making a difference. She's being felt on the court, and that's something you saw with her at LSU. You saw that she's not afraid to bang inside. That's what I liked about her. She reminds me of Dwight Howard, like that, just moving those shoulders around.
Okay.
And I was one of those people who was concerned that her game would not translate to the WNBA, because I felt like she was sort of a plodding center when she came up the field. She wasn't very quick, but then once she gets in there and she just gets going, I mean, she's hard to stop. So I'm probably going to say, if it wasn't for all of the fanfare that Caitlin Clark gets, I would probably say that Angel Reese has the edge right now. So
right.
We'll see.
Okay. I'm not mad at that take, but I will definitely have a rebuttal for you and say that, Rookie of the Year is not only about individual statistics. I think it also exemplifies what are you doing to grow your team? What are you doing to be a leader, to be a contributor, to help develop your team where you're actually winning games and showing that leadership on the floor. And you got to also keep into consideration that Caitlin Clark handles the ball a lot more than Angel Reese does. And, her facilitating, setting other teammates up, under the rim, doing all these great passes and making things happen. So she's not only a floor leader in terms of scoring the ball, but she can also set up her teammates to score. And I think she plays a much more vital role in terms of the success of the team overall. They have similar records, but right now, if the playoffs started today, the Chicago Sky have the 7th seed, and the Fever had the 8th seed. So the Sky are basically in the standings, one up on the Fever. But nonetheless, when it comes to Rookie of the Year, I don't just evaluate it in terms of individual stats. That's part of it, but you also got to look at what are you doing to better your team? What are you doing to elevate not only your team, but elevate the league? And both ladies are definitely doing that right now.
I'll rebut your rebuttal.
Go ahead, man.
Well, look at who won Rookie of the Year in the NBA, and he was one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean,
different element though.
But it is about individual stats. And granted, I think both of them are doing the best they can to make their teams better. Maybe one just has a better team than the other.
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out, but shout out to Caitlin Clark. I love what she's doing. I mean, no one has had more expectations and pressure on them this year in the history of the WNBA than Caitlin Clark. She's handled it gracefully. There have been some aggressive fouls. There have been some targets on her back, but she just does her thing. She's relentless. I love her attitude. I just love her drive, and she's just a great player. But shout out to Angel Reese as well. She's definitely doing her thing and impacting the game and impacting her team over there in the Windy City. So it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds and who's going to come out on top. We're basically nearing the halfway point of the season with the WNBA. So there's still a lot of basketball left to be played. Props to both ladies. I see you out there doing your thing. Keep dripping out there, all right? Now, let's move on to Vegas, Sin City. Big time shout outs to Asia Wilson. Breaking the record, she becomes the all-time scorer for the Las Vegas Aces, 4,301 points. So big time props to her. She's a great player. She's having a great season, and she's definitely the front runner in terms of MVP. She's averaging 27 points a game, 10.9 rebounds a game. She is definitely balling and doing her thing out there in Vegas. And she's got a running mate, Kelsey Plum. Plum is definitely doing her thing as well with 19 points a game. She's definitely doing her thing on the floor, 4.5 assists. So I like what they're doing. The Aces seem to have kind of regained their stride. They were struggling for a while, but they're 13-7. They're in 5th place right now. I believe if the playoffs started today, they would play the Seattle Storm. But everything's going to kind of move around because there's still a lot of basketball left to be played. But big time shout out to Asia Wilson. Definitely a humbling experience for her, and she definitely was really happy with her effort and really proud of what she was able to do. But I do think the Aces are a team to watch. They've won it back-to-back, right? So no team has ever three-peated in the WNBA, and it's hard to do it in professional sports, period.
There is.
I do give the Aces, a chance to make it happen. I think they've regained their stride. I think they're playing better basketball, and they're winning games. So talk to me about what you're seeing out there in Vegas with the Aces, man.
Well, I think it's great when you see good players be great. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing that has really been the staple in the NBA and so in the WNBA when you have players who stand out, as Asia Wilson has done.
Right.
Just really being an icon for the team, despite all of the talk and everything you hear surrounding the whole Caitlin Clark fiasco. It's like, she's like, well, forget all that. I'm the best. And she's gone out there and continued to prove she's the best. I mean, 27 points a game. What's her? Let's see. Her field goal percentage 52.8, almost 40% from three.
Yeah.
I mean, she is really performing, and the next player beneath her is at 23.1 points per game. So I mean, she really is making the WNBA look good. I know she's got some sponsorships, and so this is really the blueprint for where I think the WNBA wants to go.
Yeah.
To have players who stand out, who get the sponsorships, and who really sort of make the league shine. I really like what she's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So shout out to the Aces. We'll see what happens. They're trying to do a three-peat. It's never been done, but I'm really looking forward to the home stretch of the WNBA and seeing how it all unfolds. We're going to stick to basketball, but we are going to head up to Northern California, baby. Sacramento. I can't believe DeMar DeRozan in a trade from the Bulls, and Sacramento moves Chris Duarte to Chicago with 2 second-round picks and some cash. The Kings acquire a great scorer in DeMar DeRozan. He's a California boy, and he's coming back home. I really was disappointed that he didn't stay in Southern Cal, but that's another subject that we'll get to in a moment. No fault of his, but shout out to him. A 3-year deal, $74 million, and he is balling, like literally balling on multiple levels, right? He secures the bag in a 3-year deal with the Kings. The Kings are going to be loaded. I really like, you've got Sabonis, you've got, De'Aaron Fox, and now you've got DeMar DeRozan. That's going to be definitely a lineup to be, tough to compete against when it comes to the Western Conference. But I really like the move. DeMar DeRozan can score the ball. Usually hovers around 24, 25 points a game. Can get to the rim, can hit the mid-range shot. When the game's on the line, he's not afraid to take the big-time basket. He has veteran leadership and experience. I like the move by the Kings. It definitely, improves their roster. And they also, have the ability to, dominate and do what they do in terms of winning games, not only at home, but on the road. What are your thoughts about, acquiring DeRozan, and Harrison Barnes goes to the Spurs, by the way. He was part of that deal. They did lose a key piece in Harrison Barnes, but I do like what the Sacramento Kings have done.
Well, overall, I like the trade for Harrison Barnes to DeMar DeRozan. I feel like Harrison Barnes, I don't know if it's his age or whatever, but I mean, he was always just sort of this role player, in my opinion, who was sort of put in the place of being a superstar. And he never really got there, and so I feel like they've definitely stepped up that in that respect. That being said, people wonder if this is going to put the Kings over the top, and I'm going to say no. Because I don't feel like DeRozan has ever been the type of impact player where, he can take a team from one level to the next. I mean, he is obviously a prolific scorer, but I think sometimes his pluses, balance out with other people's minuses. And so I don't feel like he's going to be adding as much as possible. The other thing I'm concerned about with the Kings is team chemistry. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, that has been his team. And the thing that people don't really talk about, his running mate is Malik Monk coming off the bench. I mean, those are the guys who are the energy guys on that team, the guys who feel like they're the underdogs. And then you surround them with Kevin Huerter, great shooter, Domantas Sabonis, obviously, an underrated center. And then you've got, backups in Alex Len, Kobe Jones, Trey Lyles. Yeah. You've got a really strong team there. And I felt like they had great chemistry. I just felt like they needed another year because it's sort of when they get to the playoffs that they tend to falter a bit. But they've done well the last couple of years. So I'm curious to see if he comes in with a team first, attitude, and he's willing to sort of fit in and not feel like he has to be the star, because those guys are already on the way up.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings, were disappointing last year, and they really didn't live up to expectations. But shout out to Mike Brown and Sacramento, and we'll see how it all unfolds up there. But I think the Kings have, a bright future. I do think that they are going to be a threat in the West. But, you got so many other teams that are loaded in Dallas and Minnesota. And I think the Nuggets take a step back. But, you've still got some teams in the West that are going to, Oklahoma City. I like what they're doing. But, I like the move, honestly. I think that DeMar DeRozan can play a key role. I think that, they don't take a step back when they ship off Harrison Barnes to San Antonio and Duarte goes to Chicago. But I like the move by the Kings. They're trying to, get better. I think DeMar DeRozan is a great pickup. He typically stays relatively healthy. He's not somebody who's always banged up. You can get at least 70 to 80 games out of him in an 82-game season. So I think the Kings are going to be a threat. I do like the move, but you're right. In terms of chemistry, he's never played with any of these guys. So it may take some time for them to kind of gel cohesively as a unit, but we'll see how it plays out up in Sacramento, California. Speaking of California, let's talk about the purple and gold and the Lakers once again, who failed to really revise or change their roster. I mean, DeMar DeRozan was on the market. There was a couple of other free agents that could have been picked up. And I'm really disappointed that the Lakers, they did get connect with the 17th pick. They got Bronny James. I think those are key acquisitions for the Lakers. I think Bronny's going to take some time to develop as a player. I think Connect is NBA ready now, and he'll be able to get some minutes off the bench. But I don't think Rob Pelinka has really done an adequate job in terms of really trying to upgrade the roster. I mean, LeBron is 40 years old. Anthony Davis, played in, I think, 70 to 75 games last year. You're not going to be so lucky all the time for him to avoid the injury bug and be available to be on the floor for most of the season. I don't think LeBron is going to be able to be available as much as he was last year. He's a year older, a little more wear on the tires. He's still a great player. He's still top 5 in the league. But I think the Lakers, they haven't gotten younger. A lot of these teams in the West and the NBA overall are getting younger. They have more athleticism. They have more players that have more stamina and kind of get it done in the home stretch, and I think the Lakers are basically an aging team. And the roster, they have a decent roster, but I do think, with Cam Reddish and Vanderbilt, hopefully they can stay healthy this year, and Austin Reeves can continue to play well. But I do think the Lakers are definitely a playoff caliber team, but I don't think they're on the upper echelon of the Western Conference where they're going to really be a threat to come out of the West. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, because I love me some Lakers, right? And they need to get back to that championship level. They did win a title in the bubble, but that was 5 years ago. So LA's hungry. A lot of Laker fans, they want to see the Lakers play much better, particularly in the postseason. You've got a new coach with 0 NBA coaching experience in JJ Redick. So there's a lot of unanswered questions in Tinseltown, and we're going to see how it plays out. But I just think that the Lakers could have done a much better job in terms of acquisitions, free agency. I don't think they were as aggressive as they could have been. I think Rob Pelinka has to basically shoulder some of the blame here. Nobody's really talking or looking at him, but it's really on him, Solomon, in terms of bringing in key pieces to complement the roster. What are your thoughts in terms of where the Lakers are headed and what they failed to do?
Yeah, and that's a big talking point in the news about the lack of movement on the Lakers roster. And I'll tell you how I feel. First of all, obviously there's some restrictions. They sort of blew their wad last year when they tried to bring in players to really, really put the team over the top.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in anybody's mind that injuries are what really hurt the Lakers last year. And so the way I look at it is I am a bit more optimistic about the Lakers because you have all of those players who basically missed the entire year. I'm looking at Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Christian Wood.
Reddish missed a lot of games.
Yeah, Reddish missed a lot of games. I know we've lost Taurean Prince this year, but you still got Jackson Hayes, the high energy guy.
I like him.
And then you've got LeBron, and everybody talks about his age, but one of the impacts of him having his son on the team is he's going to get his energy back. I really think he's going to continue to be a force. And I love Rui Hachimura. I love his game. He's one of the few guys who's not afraid to bang in the middle and get his mid-range shot off and just really create for himself. So I think they're going to utilize him a little bit differently this year. I'm excited for JJ Redick. Obviously, that is the one huge question mark as to how he does.
Right.
I heard some talk about, he should be coaching the summer league team, to get some experience. But they're not going to expose their head coach like that. I mean, that's like admitting, okay, the guy's a rookie. Let's get him some playing time. So there's no way they're going to do that. But he does come in with the right mindset. So I feel like this team is going to come out ready to play. I feel like the roster they have now is competitive, assuming everyone stays healthy. And so I'm giving them a bit better chance than most people are at this point.
I'm not mad at it. We'll see how it plays out. The Lakers definitely have a lot of high expectations from the fan base. Everybody wants them to win. And I believe that, they could have did a better job of securing that roster and bringing in some key acquisitions. But it didn't happen. So hopefully they can make it happen with what they got and what they're working with. And speaking of working with something, let's shift gears. Let's go to Compton, California. Shout out to Kendrick Lamar, K-Dot, generational talent, doing his thing. They Not Like Us is definitely a record that's all over the place, breaking records all the time. I mean, the video was dope. It was released 3 or 4 days ago, and in the first 24 hours, it racked up almost 20 million views. Currently sitting at about 34 million as we speak. A great atmosphere. Sports Hot Media was in the building. We captured some scenes and some footage from the video, and I definitely got love and respect for K-Dot, the whole PG Lang camp, doing what they do. I love the record. I love all of his music. He's definitely re-energized, and he's bringing a lot of revitalization to the West Coast, bringing everybody together, the whole coast. I love it. DeMar DeRozan was in the building. Shout out to K9. You had Jay Worthy pulling up, you had my boy Position, shout out to him from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like I said, Jay Worthy was in the building. You had YG and Jay Worthy, and you also had, Problem in the building, who's got a new record, a joint venture with DJ Quick, Chupacabra. So it was definitely dope. The atmosphere was hella cool. The vibe was right. They were at the Compton Courthouse. They were at Tams in Compton. So I love the video. I love what K-Dot is doing. This is the first time in history. I mean, you got a diss record that probably is going to be nominated for a Grammy and win some awards. And it totally re-energized the coast. And I think that the West Coast still doesn't get the recognition and the respect that it deserves in hip-hop. But we are on the rise. You got so many new artists coming out. Shout out to 310 Baby. You got Meet the Whoops. Shout out to CEO Wacko and K-Dot and Problem and all the OGs, right? The DJ Quicks, the Exhibits, the Sugar Frees, the Snoops. Everybody's just kind of rallying together and revitalizing the West Coast. I love the movement. I love what's going on in terms of what Kendrick Lamar is doing. So shout out to the whole camp, the whole squad. Shout out to TDE, PG Lang, Free Lunch, and Tim Henshaw. Like, it's just a movement, definitely history. It feels good to be a part of it. So tell me what your thoughts are on Kendrick Lamar, that record, the video, which I'm sure you've seen. What are your thoughts on this whole movement in terms of what's going on right here in California?
Let's not forget the guy standing next to all of those people in the pictures. That was a pretty cool feat to get out there and sort of be amongst the crowd during that video.
Yeah.
That was you, by the way. Talk about you.
Yeah. Thank you.
But overall, I tend to look at things in the bigger picture, right? And so you've got Kendrick Lamar, who's sort of been almost reclusive over the last few years.
Yeah.
Not putting out much, and then this whole thing comes out, and now it's like it's just lit a fire under him, where not only is he producing great music, he's now representing the city he's from. Like you said, he's revitalizing the whole West Coast rap scene.
Yeah.
And then he's really leveraging all of the popularity and doing things at the right time, at the right place. I mean, coming out on Juneteenth with the pop-up concert, releasing the video on the 4th of July. I mean, shout out to his PR team for
all the little messages, right?
Yeah, just really maximizing everything about this. I hope he's able to continue it. I hope, like you said, I know you've been dropping some big names there, and I'm hoping that it does inspire, more young rap artists and artists of all kinds to sort of come out and represent where they're from and really become cultural icons for the city. It's less about, the gang stuff, and it's more about just people being creative and being celebrated in their community. So I really applaud him for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it all goes, but the movement is definitely elevating, and shout out to the whole squad. Like I said, K. Kendrick Lamar, generational talent, doing what he does. Shout out to Compton. Shout out to all the artists from all over the city of LA and California. Nothing but love and respect over here with Sports Hop. And if you haven't pulled up and been on the show, we welcome you. Tap in with me. Definitely let me know what time it is, and we'll make it happen, because that's what we do here. We give you a platform. And speaking of a platform, you can find me online at Instagram at Mack B, MACKB as in boy _, at Sports Hop Media. This is episode 33. It's on and popping. You're watching Sports Hop with me and Solomon. Keep it locked. It's your boy Mack B. Thanks for watching Sports Hop. Subscribe here for all the latest news on hip hop and sports. It's your boy Mack B.